My grandmother, my mom's mom, very unique individual. She has a certain way of thinking, a certain way of seeing that is just unlike anything else. If you are someone who is pretty and pleasing to the eye, and if you're thin, then automatically that comes with manners and intelligence, and that automatically gives you the right to marry into someone that's pretty and have a nice house and have a nice car and go to school. But if you're fat or you're not that pretty or your hair doesn't lay down just so right, then you are just automatically considered, a dummy, a retard, worthless, just not someone that needs to be around, not someone that other people need to inflict themselves on. And my grandmother actually, believes it so hardcore, and she's raised every one of us, her daughters, us grandkids, every one of us feeling like we will never, ever be as good as the guys next door. We're never going to be pretty enough to marry the nice guy. I was married to a guy that was pretty mentally abusive, and you've probably seen other videos where I've talked about him. And when we divorced, she said that it would have been better for me to have continued to gone through the things I was going through than be alone, because I was fat. No one was going to want me. And I know one time she asked me to kill myself. My grandfather was in the hospital, and we had gone to the hospital to see him, and we had taken my grandmother out to get something to eat while, just to kind of give her a break while my grandfather slept and all that. And we saw someone that my mom went to school with who was quite a large lady. And my grandmother was like, there she is. My mom's like, who? I just see this large woman. And she's like, that's her. Isn't it disgusting? Isn't that horrible? And my mother's like, well, just we all age and we all mature and we all get our adult weight. And she's like, no, that's just horrible. And people that look like that need to kill themselves. And I said, well, I don't look too much different than that. I'm about the same size as that woman. And my grandmother said, yeah, and you really should consider killing yourself, because every time I have to look at you and know that you're part of my family, it's just a disgrace. I don't want other people looking on you and having to look at something so disgusting and knowing that it's coming from our family. Really, you would do everybody a favor if you would just kill yourself. And it was crazy, and her and my grandfather, when I was little, and this was probably when I was 18 is when she said that, but I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and they used to constrict my food, and I'd have to eat standing up to make sure things went to where they were supposed to go, and they literally tried to buy my weight. I remember my grandfather being outside, and he was just like, it's just not normal, and you're not going to be pretty, and you're not going to have these things, and blah, blah, blah. But I know you don't get an allowance because your parents can't afford you to give you an allowance. But I tell you what, I've got some scales, and I'll weigh you, and we'll start right now. And every week you come back over here, and we'll weigh. And for every pound you lose, I'll give you $10. I will give you $10 a pound for your fat. And I just kind of looked at him like, really? Even then, I was just like, really? My family has always made sure that I have known that I didn't belong. So anyway, just silly quirks of people, and how you can get stuck in a mindset, like that. But that was my grandmother. Nobody was good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, and she was just ashamed of all of us. And to be honest, she's no prize, so I don't know why she's all wound up like that, but she is.